This video is about a mature rated game that features violence and gore. Viewer discretion is advised. Even after the Resident Evil 2 and 3 remakes, I never thought they were going to remake. Resident Evil 4 is getting a remake! My first entry into the Resident Evil series, one of my favourite games ever, is getting a remake in 2023. Hello, I'm Viddy of Viddy's Gaming Viddyos, and I realise I'm some days late, but I had to try out the demo of the Resident Evil 4 remake titled The Chainsaw Demo. Let's take a look. But it's important to note, if you haven't played the demo yet or don't want to be spoiled in anything about the remake, it's okay to look away. First of all, the demo took about an hour for me to complete, considering how many times I died, but we'll come back to that. Though it is actually close to the 30-minute mark and covers essentially the opening section of the original Resident Evil 4 up to the end of the first big ambush. Let's look at the presentation first. When starting the game, I was a little unsure if the dark forest vibe really worked at first, probably having been used to the colour scheme of the original. That being said, when going inside a cabin, I immediately felt a sense of dread because of the lighting and the almost claustrophobic nature of the environment. It almost took me right back to my teen years of playing the original, right down to taking my time of exploring everywhere possible and being at least a little scared. Overall, the game runs smoothly, and Leon looks much like he does in the Resident Evil 2 remake. Well, it's the RE engine, so that shouldn't be surprising. It's the same English voice actor as before, which brings us onto the sound. Not much to say about it. Everything about the sound of music was complimentary without being intrusive and intense in the action-packed moments. In fact, sound from a radio also was heard inside the PlayStation 5 controller. Also, nice little detail when Leon looks repulsed at bloodstained corpses of animals and humans, or brushing away bushes. The gameplay is definitely a different take on the original, and somewhat similar to the Resident Evil 2 remake actually. Keep in mind I've not played the remake of 3. For one thing, you can move while shooting or reloading. None of that standing still like a sitting duck. This change is in line with a suitably challenging enemy AI. They are subtly more challenging. They will still ambush you as usual, anticipate your moves, and try to kill you whatever it takes. It was also playing through this demo that reminded me of something in the original Resident Evil 4 that I never really commented on. Even after playing it many times, every combat encounter feels a little different, ranging from where the enemies ambush you to just fighting off the enemies in a different order, or deciding to take your time or not at all to go to a scripted sequence such as the cabin with the shotgun. To talk more about the challenge, I think I have to walk you all through what happened during the number of attempts to complete the ambush sequence. First, I trusted my intuition and followed the villager stealthily by crouching. I could use a knife to kill a villager without anyone else spotting me. Nice new idea. Then I collected a few items nearby. After that, there didn't really seem to be any other stealth options, so I mostly accidentally started the ambush with every villager coming after Leon. Things seemed familiar in terms of using the gun sparingly and using melee moves, only for our chainsaw-wielding enemy to intrude a few minutes later. While trying to run away, the chainsaw destroys part of a cabin, blocking a pathway. Unfortunately, a villager grabs Leon and the chainsaw cut him up with little resistance. The second attempt starts off slightly differently as I stumble with my stealth. Only the villager may be blind? I cannot tell, really. Anyway, in my second attempt, much of everything is the same, except I managed to press L1 and parry against the chainsaw with a knife, except I lose it. Great, I didn't use my combat knives properly. No wonder Leon died by being burnt on fire. Not much to say about the third attempt, except I tried a flash grenade and I didn't press L1 in time, so Leon suffered another chainsaw death. Okay, this is the final attempt, I promise you. And this is where I noticed something interesting. I tried to climb up that ladder that was in the original, and I thought I could knock the enemies down the ladder, except the top was a wooden platform that gave way. There goes that idea. Half a minute later, I managed to climb into a cabin when I find a hand grenade inside a barrel. I tried to remain stationary and mainly used my knife to fend off villagers climbing through the window. A minute later, way more than just a couple of villagers tried to get through the door on the side. It is through using the gun in melee combat I noticed the combat is a little overpowered. I make my way past the door, probably my only option. The cutscene showing our chainsaw-wielding nemesis appears again. I even use the first aid spray because the villagers are many and use more combo attacks, possibly different from the original game. In desperation, I get out the hand grenade and destroy every villager in the room. Then, the bell rings. The ambush is over, possibly after killing roughly 16 villagers or so. I didn't even need to fight off Chainsaw Guy, and Leon just barely survived the grenade blast. And thus, the demo ends. All through the demo, I still needed time to get used to the controls and even figure out which configuration works best for me. Plus, I may not be a good shot, but rest assured, this is a different take on a classic Resident Evil entry with enough surprises. Or I either wasn't paying attention or memory lied to me. Plus, I didn't even get around to talking about the gunpowder crafting mechanic, and there's still surely more surprises and gameplay mechanics in the remainder of the game, including the merchant and you paying him. So I'm definitely getting this game, and it looks mostly set to be the good balance of action and horror as the original too. What about you? Have you played the demo? Are you getting the game at least? Or do you prefer the somewhat more cheesy nature of the original game, complete with the iconic bingo line of Leon's? Tell all down in the comments, and have a good day or night, or whatever it is, and... Leon! Help! Oh no...